Good afternoon, everyone. We'll be with you shortly. We're just waiting for a few more arrivals. Good afternoon, everyone. We'll be with you shortly. We're just waiting for a few more arrivals. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us for another session of Tea at 3 on Wednesdays. I'm very excited about this week to talk about something that's very dear to my heart. But before we begin, I need to do some housekeeping items. This session will be recorded, and we will have it up on our website under webinars. And it'll also be attached to our cruising as well to help you make your decisions as we move forward. If you have any questions, please type them in the chat box and we'll answer them at the end of our session. And I think that covers everything that I want to talk about. So now I'm going to turn it over to someone that I met quite a few years ago that's full of energy and passion, and you can't have a better presenter. We've been normally doing this in person. We go on a ship and have a nice lunch and that kind of stuff, but the virtual world has been with us for the last 16 or so months, and I'm excited to at least see you, Sabrina, today live. But I want to introduce you, Sabrina Greca of Norwegian Cruise Lines. She's the regional sales and marketing manager and knows this product better than anyone and believes in it like I do. So over to you, Sabrina.
Thank you so much. And Richard, may I say, I miss you and I miss being in Halifax. And absolutely, I remember like it was yesterday, the fun we had on the ships. Was it the Dawn or the Gem? Anyways, I know I was yelling at everybody because they weren't walking fast enough. I made them run across that ship. They were tired because they were having too much alcohol at lunch. Those maritime.
Yes.
So, but now this time I can say live from Delson on the South Shore of Montreal, not as sexy at all.
No, we can't wait to have you back and get together for lunch and catch up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say, Richard, I want your title, Director of Fun. Can I be your Assistant Director of Fun? Please, I want that in my title. But without further ado, first of all, I already apologize because when you share your screen, because I do have a few video, and when you share a screen, you have to click a little button to make sure that you share the sound. And, I don't know, the pandemic has given me like some mental relapses or whatever, so I don't remember. So I'm going to stop the sharing 2.5 seconds, I promise you, and making sure that I actually click that little button. I apologize. Now you're just going to see our pretty faces. So, and I have to, I have to share my house today, so I can't be in my office. Look at this. I'm a mess. Hold on. Dad, I promise you once, because now you can't see my screen at all, correct?
No, that's correct.
Okay. Okay, I'm getting there.
Well, you always have a surprise for me every time.
It's the joys of the live, okay? It's the joys of the live. So you can't think that this is not alive because, oh Lord. Okay, I promise.
If you're wondering on that accent, folks, that's an Italian accent.
It is. Don't think it's French. Don't think it's French. When people tell me, oh, you French Canadian, I was like, keep your insults to yourself. But anyways, I'm Italian born and raised. So it's a mix of accents. So here we go. Now you can see it. I clicked everything. So I apologize. So first of all, Richard, I'm happy to speak to anybody with us today because I get for the first time to actually talk about a cruise comeback. And I know some of you might not be quite ready, but I'm going to ask you to see this as at least you're going to have a bunch of guinea pigs that is going to go on before you. So when you'll be ready to go in 2022 or 2023, but know that we will have been at sea back for at least a year, so that it is a great news. Look, for somebody that saw everything stop immediately on March 13, 2020, 17 months later to have a date with a return, let me tell you, it is quite exciting. So If you don't know Norwegian, just very quickly, I'm not going to give you a history class, but just know we have 54 years of history. We're the company that started cruising as you know it today, because Miami, that's the cruise capital of the world, was actually, we digged out we put in the first shovel. That was in 1966. Our owner and founder that sadly passed away just last year. So, and he started cruising as we know it. And then in 75, we were the cruise line that had the biggest ship in the world. Imagine that, 78,000 tons, Richard, was the biggest one. Now it's 220. So, but we were the first ones to have many dining rooms and a theater. So imagine that, everything that is quite normal today, put it that way, Norwegian invented it and started it. So we came a long way. We now have 17 ships into the fleet. How many of these ships have you tried, Richard?
I've been on a fair number. My very first one was one of my favorite. I love the Sun, that little intimate ship, and it was. But I've been on certainly many of them, either as a tour or I've actually cruised on them. And you know what you just mentioned is some of the stuff I love most about Norwegian. You've been groundbreaking on so many fronts, because and people from my region here aren't real formal people. When they work hard during their lives and want to go on vacation, I don't want to feel like I'm going to a prom every night for dinner. You have to feel, I mean, in the old days of cruising, when we'd all get decked out and go on, and I mean, you can still do that. You're still welcome. You'll see everything but to me, you're fine in a golf shirt or a nice short sleeve shirt with a nice pair of dress pants, and the fact that you're not eating in one big dining hall, as I call them. You know, it's a nice intimate experience with restaurants. It's like being in a beautiful small town with restaurants, and that's what I love most about Norwegian, and that casual feel, and the staff are so warm and friendly. It doesn't feel like I'm going to a prom.
Although we do love to see you in your kilt, I have to say, and I hope you do wear it on our cruise, because they love to see that. But you're absolutely correct. And, you know, I came into this industry 17 years ago with 0 cruises. And that is literally, when I wasn't working for Norwegian, absolutely what sold me to them. It's this Freestyle that we now have on all of our ships. And we're still today the only cruise line that allows you to eat when you're hungry and won't tell you. I call it the Italian wedding mentality. You know, you got an Italian wedding at 6 and one at 8, and everybody, you know, sits together. So 17 ships. And you're right, we have some bigger ones that do feel like they're a floating city at 4,000 passengers, but we also have smaller ships at about 2,000, 2,400 that are much more intimate. So whatever you prefer. But I have to say, the big ships, a lot of people are a little scared about them because they're like, it's so big. Well, you know, and so many people, there are many people, but there's also a lot more to do. So we're talking up to 29 dining options, 22 bars, lots of activities. But one thing I can guarantee you, and Richard, you've seen also the bigger ships, is we have a lot of venues, and a lot of venues like the waterfront that also brings you outside. So you never feel like you're really 4,000 people on board. So and the ships are actually built for Freestyle to work. Because if you think that you have 4,000 people that are going to eat where they want, whenever they want, with who they want, it has to work. It has to create a flow. And, you know, our ex-CEO said something that I always use. He said, on Norwegian, you never wonder where people are having fun. You know, there's always another cruise line. You might always think at 6 o'clock, where's everybody? They're at the dining room. You never have that feeling on Norwegian. And yes, we have spectacular dining choices, but I have to say the most spectacular part is how many choices. So from the main dining room, right? We have beautiful dining room. Yes, we have the buffet. And by the way, opens at 6, close at 10:30, never close. We always have, like the local that you see at the bottom right screen here, an option that is 24 hours and completely free. So you have plenty of options already there, but we also are so good at our specialty dining, right? Whether it's here, this is my own plate, by the way. I don't know if they can see it or a pretty face are hiding it, but this is my rack of lamb at the bistro, which is my yes, an Italian that says that the French restaurant is our favorite. That says it all. Okay, that it takes a lot of my ego to put aside. This is actually the porthouse tenderloin at Cagney Steakhouse. It has 16 ounces. I can feed my whole family with that. So we have Italian, we have a Texas smokehouse, we have Moderno Churrascaria, we have Los Lobos, which is Mexican, a Teppanyaki. The choices are endless, but the best news is that Norwegian now will give you at least 2 dinner in a specialty restaurant for free. That's the minimum is 2. And the longer the cruise, the more we're giving it to you. The other thing.
I love that aspect. And I love one of the earlier pictures, the fact that you once again were revolutionary in creating outdoor dining spaces now. So they're not all on the interior. There's just, I mean, the food is fantastic. I mean, it's just, it's not cafeteria food for sure.
No,
it's a la carte. It's beautiful. You order what you want, and traveling with us, because we're happy to sell you any cruise at any time. But our hosted cruises, we try to look after all those extra details as well. So food is no shortage, and like I said, I often will stop into the 24-hour spot and to have some wings or like
they're the best in the world. The best wings. I'm sorry, I've yet to find a place that has better wings. But and you have a great point. On a cruise with Norwegian, it's the only place, the only vacation where you can be served morning, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You never have to go to to the buffet if you don't want to. I mean, you can have a breakfast at the dining room or at the local or at one of the restaurants. So it is a la carte, it is upscale, but I cannot not mention all the bars and lounges we have on board, because they create so much ambiance on board, whether it's the martini bar that you see right here, 20 types of martinis, whether it's the mojito bar, 22 types of mojitos. But I have to say the most popular right now is the brew house. 24 types of draft beer and 50 types of bottled beer. And guess what? Because we offer the unlimited beverage package, and I know that you do include it in all your packages, Richard. And actually, and we'll talk about promotions after, we include on any departure, so you don't have to worry. Have your drinks. And I don't want to be stereotypical, but I know it is important in Atlantic Canada. Let's be real. Doesn't make you alcoholics. It's the same in Quebec. I know that La Sac in Quebec made a lot of money during the pandemic. So lots of bars. We are great at shows. We've been known at Norwegian for being the best in the industry for entertainment. And it's not just the quality of the shows that you'll have at the theater, but also the smaller venues that host their own entertainment everywhere on the ship, whether it's the Cavern Club on some ships. Yes, the Cavern Club where you can see the Beatles, where it's Howl at the Moon, where you have a pianist and you write a song on a piece of paper and literally throw it at them. So it is all of these different types of entertainment going on at the same time. That way you, again, do whatever you please on your own vacation. So, but destinations are important, and we go, so we kind of shortened our pens during the pandemic, Richard, because in the past, I have to say, till about 5 years ago, Norwegian was very known in doing shorter cruises, those 7 days, yes, but not more than 10. And it would be the same itinerary, right? Let's say the epic Barcelona from Barcelona. But in the pandemic, we looked at it and we said, our guests wants to venture out. They now will be without travel for 1.5 years, 2 years, and maybe some even more whenever you feel comfortable. So we look at how many itineraries. That's for 2022, 7 continents for the first time in our history, 52 different itineraries in Europe and 46 in the Caribbean. And that's without counting that we even go to Antarctica. Beautiful 14-day cruise out of Buenos Aires. I mean, the sky is the limit. But let's talk about a return to service, because it's happening in 44 days. Richard, I will cry that day when I'm going to see people embark. Maybe it's not going to be Canadians. And I understand. And I really want you to feel comfortable whenever you feel comfortable, but we have to start. Americans have their 2 doses, they're more vaccinated. There's a lot of countries out there that are a little bit ahead of us. So we needed to get started. So the Jade will be in Athens doing the Greek Isle as of July 25th. That's it, less than a month and a half. So then we'll do the Western Med out of Barcelona with the Epic, and we'll do 10 and 11 Greek Isle Italy cruises out of Rome. And I have to say, I really hope to be on one of those. Then we've announced also that we're going to start Alaska. Now, Trudeau has not helped us on that, but that's okay. We got a permission from the American government to skip the Canadian ports. Hence, we breach the Jones Act, but we won't be penalized. So we're going to sail out of Seattle. That is as soon as August 7 on the Norwegian Encore, our latest ship. Beautiful itinerary. Again, if you feel comfortable, we're going to be there all the way to October. And I have to say, the fact that they removed the quarantine hotel, have you heard that?
Today,
We don't have to do. I called it the concentration camps, but don't quote me on this. It was a little bit much. Quarantine, maybe I understand. We were not vaccinated, but anyways, I'm not going to do any political statements here. But if you feel comfortable in September, October, go see Alaska. It's absolutely beautiful. I love the destination.
Sabrina, I was supposed to be on the Greek Islands in October, or Isles in October, and that was canceled. But I'm meeting with some folks tonight, and so my plan is I'm going on a cruise before the end of the year, and some people are probably going to come with me. That's our conversation tonight. So there may be some other news pending, and then we're choosing our Greek Isles date for next year. So I'm meeting with those that were traveling with me. So right now it's looking like September of next year. We'll finally, after 2 cancellations and 2 years of waiting, get to do that wonderful trip. And I'm going to be quiet because you have a lot to cover here, and I don't want us to
no, and it's fine. And some things I'll go just faster. This is way more important. And I agree with you, Richard. We're starting to really see the end and to be able to see dates. And again, if you're comfortable with 2022, it's fine. But I honestly think that when those gates will open, there's a lot of Canadians that will be on the ship before the end of the year. And I have my eye on something we've announced just 2 days ago, the Norwegian breakaways going back to New York for Bermuda. You know how much I love Bermuda, and we're going to talk about that. So I think I'll be on the same, on the first one. So health and safety. Now, this you have to talk to Richard and his team before you go, because this slide has changed 6 times already. I don't even change it anymore. I'm just going to talk to it. So what I can tell you right now, that on board, a lot of things have changed, but the experience won't. Are we going to start at a lower capacity? Absolutely. Have we implemented more sanitary measures on board? Yes. We've changed all the filters in every cabins. We're going to use fumigating, but and we're going to have also temperature taken. But the number one thing you have to be concerned for all sailing up to October 31st, we don't know later than that, is both vaccine are mandatory. And Richard, I'm gonna be political for 2 seconds. You've heard that the CDC and the state of Florida don't quite, are happy with each other right now. And in order to leave out of Florida, a lot of cruise line retracted some of their decision, about vaccination. Well, Norwegian won't. It will be right now the only cruise line that will offer 100% vaccinated cruise. If you're not vaccinated, if you're a child and you can't get a vaccine, you're simply not coming on board. And I'm sorry, I see that, me personally, as a very good news. Okay?
I agree with you. At this point, certainly, it makes the most sense for all of us, and we don't want to fall back into a bad situation. So,
and especially for now, let us start and see how it goes and how we can control it, and and the temperature taking on board and whatever. It's new protocols. So to see some cruise line that are retracting just because they want to please political aspirations, let's call it that way, really, I can't deal with that anymore. So I'm happy we're sticking to it, 100% vaccinated. Now, I know that a lot of people, well, Sabrina, if I've had COVID, the Canadian requirements are only one vaccine. No, you need two to get on board. Okay. So for now, up to October 31st, always double check. Okay. The other most exciting thing that happened, I swear, like,
breathtaking. All your ships are breathtaking.
Whoops. Yes. And I have to say, I'm a bit a kid in a candy store, right? Every time we deliver a ship, I get a little excited. But in my head, Richard, I'll be honest, I'm like, how can they top the other one? Like, what the heck? Like, there's only so much. And I swear with this one, I was like, that's it. I'm never going to ask my question again because it is beyond. So the Norwegian Prima was launched on May 12th, and already it has beaten every record. Richard, I have good and bad news. There are a lot of sailings that are already close to groups. So you need to look at this and find some space if you want to do a group on the Prima, even for 2023, because she's blowing everything out of the water.
Well, she's back to the small capacity again as well compared to the larger ships. So
exactly. And not only that, people are excited to go back. People love new ships. It's like having a new car. We love the new ship smell, right? So Prima means first in Italian. The ship was built in Italy, and it created a new Norwegian. It's the future of Norwegian. So it has been 10 years that we hadn't launched a new class of ship, okay? So we literally had a blank piece of paper, and we said, okay, now we need to listen to our guests, see what they like, but we also have an ocean of opportunities. What are we doing? And the first thing that we did, and it's very rare that I show statistics like this, it's just numbers, but one thing we understood, that was pre-pandemic, we had a crystal ball, people wanted more space. The Prima will have the biggest ratio space client than any other ship in the contemporary market and in the premium market. Watch out, my competition. I'm coming with more space. So how do you calculate that? 142,000 tons. It's about the size of the Breakaway or the Getaway, okay? But usually those ships are 4,200 passengers. Now it's 3,200, 1,000 passenger less. So what does it give us? Wide open spaces. We're not worried at cranking as many cabins as we can. More spaces outdoor. People wanted to be outside. That's what we heard. And we have designed the ship. Every nooks and crack had been thought about delivering experiences and really beyond expectation. So it's very thoughtful. We're the first in a few things, but that's, it's like technicality. We like to be the first, and some are first for the industry and some are first for Norwegian, but let's dig into it. First of all, I can't announce everything. We like to deliver stuff a little bit at a time to keep you on your toes and keep you excited. So the Ocean Boulevard was the first thing we were able to talk about. So you said about the open space, dining outside, especially Canadians. You know the funny fact about that? Every time I go to a specialty dining, Richard, I always wonder, do I have to book a table outside? Nope. Because guess what? The Americans love the air conditioning. They all want to stay inside. I don't care if my hair gets humid a little bit. I want to be outside and look at the ocean. So it's very easy to find spot outside. So waterfront was the #1 favorite of our guests because, again, you want to have a drink outside, have a meal outside. So now the Ocean Boulevard, instead of just taking half of Deck 8, is going to go around completely, 44,000 tons of real estate just for you to have different experiences. So yes, outdoor dining, outdoor bars, seated areas, even infinity pools like that. My brain went Like, that's it. I'm the emoji with the brain explosion. So we're going to have glass bridges, outdoor sculpture garden, but I'm going to show you. By the way, this is not the pool deck. There's going to be another pool deck. This is just on each side of the ship, this beautiful relaxation area. Best view of the ocean that you'll ever have. You can't get closer than that. And look at these day beds that are surrounded by water. That's water. I just want to dip my toes into this and just like stay there the whole day. So that's priceless. I love this picture because people are like, what is this? Why would I go there? It's for pictures. People love to take crazy, it's just an experience. You're walking 50 feet above the water line. I might pee a little, but that's another story.
I'd be crawling on my hands and knees, I think.
Exactly. We're going to hold on for dear life. We're going to have this beautiful concourse with statues by this sculpture. But it's all about Greek mythology and the sea. But at night, it's going to change color. So again, great picture. And it's just the ambiance it's going to create as you're walking around this ocean boulevard. But this is my area. Don't look for me, Richard. I'll be there. You see, that's my hat there. It's holding my place. So beautiful seating areas. I particularly like actually the fire pit. Imagine having a glass of white wine and just looking at the ocean. It's like 5, 6 o'clock before dinner. And the food hall is going to offer you 11 dining experiences. It's literally going to be like a food court, but upscale. So open morning, lunch, and dinner. It's going to be free for breakfast and lunch. At night, because we're going to change the menus, it's going to be a cover charge. But the concept is really, we're friends traveling together. You feel for Indian, I feel for a salad. Somebody else wants to go at the meat section. So it's basically, or try a bit of everything and have a tapa style type of dinner or lunch. So that's really a neat concept. All the big cities in the world like Amsterdam and Chicago and have these food halls. So very, very trendy. Along the boulevard, you're also going to find the local, the one that you're going to have those chicken wings. There's more than chicken wings, but we just love them. So again, 24-hour, completely free. You can eat at, and again, the buffet, there's going to be a garden cafe somewhere else on the ship. You're going to be able to find Los Lobos. It's our authentic Mexican restaurants. That's a specialty restaurant. But like I said, you get 2 free. So you can either have lunch or dinner here. And for dinner, Onda by Scarpetta, it's our upscale Italian gourmet. It's not spaghetti meatballs, okay? It's no Alfredo. I don't even know who Alfredo is. I don't like that. So that's not Italian, okay? That is not Italian. This is really upscale Italian cuisine. Onda means wave in Italian. So you get an Italian class at the same time with me. And again, it could be one of the 2 free options that you're using. Now, so I don't get excited about cabins. You're going to say, cabinets where I go sleep and that's it. Now I get excited. Look at this. So we're going to have an array of different type of cabins from suites. I mean, you know that we also have the Haven, but we have suites with butler 24/7 concierge service. We have a new category. It's called a club balcony. So mini suites with Norwegian don't exist anymore because it was confusing people. Am I a suite? Not a suite? Where's my butler? So now it's called club balcony. It's a little bit bigger than a balcony, but also has amenities. So you'll get the chocolate-covered strawberries and the bottle of champagne when you walk in. You're going to have canapes delivered to your room a few times during the week. But the best thing, you're going to get your laundry done. We like to go back home without laundry. So you're going to get to do laundry once during your stay. And obviously you're going to have balconies on ocean view and inside, but look at the design. Doesn't it feel more like a hotel room than a cabin on a ship?
It does.
Right?
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. Gorgeous, very, the colors are beautiful. The rooms, Richard, are 25% bigger. We said we didn't go cheap on the room, 25% bigger than any of our ships. You also have studios. So studios are for people who travel alone.
And that's wonderful, because I have a lot of singles always. And to me, it's a wonderful concept, once again, that you put into play. And it's amazing. And those that have enjoyed it on my trips have they have another family besides their travel family, being with me. They end up with another family there because you're the only ones who can access that area. So
exactly. So the studio has no single supplement, so that's huge. And I know, because I travel alone and I hate to pay that. It's like I get punished twice, right? And then you also have a studio lounge. So once you're in a studio, you have private access to a lounge where you know that everybody else in that lounge also travels alone. So hence the second family you were referring to. One thing very important, look at that. You have a balcony on the left and you have an ocean view on the right. And what you can notice is on the ship, the ocean view is as big as the balcony. You didn't have that before without the balcony. So for those that want a lot of room in their room and don't quite care about the balcony, I am telling you, they're going like hotcakes, because it makes it for a very big room. And who's going to say that it was going to be the highlight of my presentation is a bathroom, right?
No, I just couldn't get over it.
For those who've cruised before, if you know what it is to go in the shower on a cruise, which is a corner shower. I mean, it's comfortable, it's functional, but it has nothing to do with what you have at home. So this is the bathroom of an inside cabin, an ocean view, or a balcony. Usually you see this on a suite. The bathrooms are 35% bigger on this ship than any other ship. So that is fantastic news. I have a little video for you. So hopefully it's going to work.
We'll see.
I think that once he sent me over the presentation, it might have just...
Yeah, sometimes it won't work on the...
Okay, do you allow me to go on YouTube real quick? Yeah, you'll see.
You can do whatever you want. You're in charge.
Ooh, I do whatever I want. I love that. I don't hear that much. Norwegian Cruise Lines. Where is the official? So now you know where to find our videos.
Yeah, I might slow down a little bit.
Say that again.
So it might slow down a little bit, but I'm hearing music, so that's good.
Okay, that's fine. But can you see my screen?
Not at the moment, so.
Okay, that's okay. You see, we're going to be creative here. We're going to get this right. I thank you for your patience. Here you go. Can you see it now?
Yes.
There you go.
Introducing Norwegian Prima, the first in a new class of ships. Made for the trailblazers and tastemakers, for first-time seekers and explorers of the spectacular. Made for you. With more wide-open spaces to enjoy the great wide open. Rooms that have more room, and service that puts you first. Be the first to discover a new experience at sea. Norwegian Prima. Coming summer 2022.
So from 1 to 10, Richard.
I'll have to start looking for my date to get us on the Prima for an itinerary for sure.
And again, 2023 has coming out, and we're going to talk
of its newest ship, Norwegian Prima.
It kept talking. I have to go stop the other thing
because we'll break down everything for you in this video.
The video is like keep going. Here you go. Okay, so we're going to talk destinations right now because we need to know where is the ship going to be. So she's starting August 17, 2022. There's already a lot of bookings in. There's no room for groups. So you're going to have to wait for 2023, Richard. So she's going to sail from Amsterdam to Reykjavik. And this ship, when she's going to be in Europe, she's mainly going to do the Norwegian fjords and Iceland. So beautiful itinerary. You have to do that. And then she's going to come over. She's going to do a Southampton to New York, and she's going to come through Halifax. I don't know if I'll be able to do a ship tour for you, Richard. I can't promise anything, but fingers crossed. Then she's going to do Bermuda, but a 5-day. I don't like 5 days. I need 7. We're going to talk later. And then I think you should look at that one. There's a New York to Galveston in October 2022. Okay, I think it's October 15. And what she does is she sails out of New York, but she goes to the ABC Islands. So it's a 12-day cruise, but you know, with your packages, you can make it a 14 or 15-day cruise, you know, bus down to New York and take that ship. And then she does Galveston to Miami. That one, I think it's good for the Americans. Then she's going to spend a few weeks in Miami, but she's going to spend the winter in Orlando from December 11 to end of March. She's going to be in Orlando doing Western Caribbean. So that's Ocho Rios, Grand Cayman, and obviously our private destination that is Arvis Key in Belize. Then, and I think that's where I want to see you probably. In April and May 2023, she'll go back to New York for the 7-day Bermuda. And then she's going to do very different than before. Instead of doing 2 sea days to go to Bermuda, she's going to stop in Norfolk, Virginia. So that, you know, you get to see colonial Virginia, and then 3 days in Bermuda still and back to New York. And look at this. Then she's going to go back from New York through Halifax and Sydney and go to Reykjavik, New York to Reykjavik. And then she's going to start the season, Reykjavik to London, 10 days, London to Reykjavik. Always 3 ports in Iceland and 3 ports in Norway. She's going to do Amsterdam and Brussels. Isn't that that's amazing?
And Reykjavik in Iceland is on my list. I mean, I've been many times, but I haven't really hosted something there, and I keep talking about it. So that's a possibility as well. So we'll look at all of those, Sabrina.
You better. No, not probably. I don't think that's what they want to hear. There's no probably there, Richard. So that's it. So be the first to book, because I have a bit of a bad news. Price has increased already 3 times, especially for 2022. Demand is high. You know, I always say a deposit with a cruise line is always fully refundable. Make sure if you're interested in something, go and put a deposit. If you change your mind, get your refund, because I am telling you, if you're waiting for a deal, the deal is now. That's all I got to say. Price has gone up, and I'm going to prove you with your departures. So first of all, we have the best promotions right now. This is promotions for what do we call individual travel, not your organized group. So you want to go somewhere, you don't need to be with Richard, you want to go on your own, we're giving 30% off. This is valid until June 30th, 30% off, all 5 offers. I'm going to get into the offers in a second. And then second flight free. So me and you, Richard, we're going somewhere, you pay the flight, obviously, and I'm free. And we have flights from Halifax. So that is, I mean, the flight Halifax to Miami is about $400 and second passenger is free. It's like you're paying when is the last time you paid $200 to fly to Miami? Like, was I born?
No. You can't hard to go to Deer Lake for that.
So what do we include? The 5 offers are free, unlimited open bar, any drinks up to $15. And you see the list of the drinks. They ain't cheap right here, right? It's not the cheap booze, it's the good booze. Then we're going to give you minimum 2 specialty dining. The longer the cruise, the more restaurant. $50 per port on excursions. We're going to give you $250 of 250 minutes of free Wi-Fi. And on some sailings, if you want to bring them and you haven't killed them yet during the pandemic, you can bring your kids for free. So now my dog is begging for the door. I have to. He's been waiting. He's coming to me. He's going to do something. Hold on. He's like, Mama, I need to go. He's like,
there's the impromptu of live.
Of the live. And I know that your guests love your pets. I went on your Facebook. They love when you post about pets. So they will understand that he's like running, he's crossing his legs right now. That's how much he had to go. So the featured itinerary, look at this. This is your no-fly cruise, and that is Bermuda from Boston. First of all, love Boston. Don't love their sports team so much, but that's another discussion. But I've been to Bermuda 6 times, Richard, and I think my 7th time will be this September because we've announced Breakaway will be in New York, and I might be on that one. But in May 2022, May is a perfect time to go to Bermuda because in the summer, it's hot. It is really hot. But honestly, and on your departure, I did some digging. Guess what? If you buy this, because I know you have tons of inclusions and I'm going to let you tell them, okay? But on the cruise portion, Richard right now is about $1,000 less than the price of the day. Okay. And so that is the power of, working with your agency and having, because you've blocked this group a long time ago.
Last August.
And that's how much price, and that's for couples. It's not 1,000. Yeah, it's 1,000 per couple. And I'm always looking at balcony. I'm sorry, I don't look at inside. So you want to go over what you include in this? Because I didn't put your price, but it's on your site.
Yes, well, what we do is we all depart from Halifax, or one of the convenient pickup points from Halifax, and we go down and we're going to spend the overnight in Portland, Maine. And then we do a nice meet and greet reception, as you know, that I always like to do. So everyone gets to meet one another. And then the next day, we're going to go down and board the ship and have this wonderful cruise. And then when we come back, we'll do the same thing as we travel back home. So we'll do an overnight once again in Maine and back to Halifax. So very relaxing pace coming and going, and there's no fly involved. And so it's just a great time to get to know your fellow travelers before you get on the ship, because it's easy to lose people on the ship if you want to. You don't have to see us at all if you don't want to. So.
Exactly. And I know that you include all the gratuities. You include, they can literally leave their wallet at home if they don't want to go to the casino, right?
I mean, all of the, when you see free 5, I mean, that is free, but you also need to pay gratuities on that. So when you see a free beverage package, the beverage package still may cost you $180, $200, depending on the length of the trip, for just gratuities. So it's, it's one of those things that we put it all in the package. There's no nickel and diming you later. And so, and I may have been off on those numbers, but I just picked that out of the hat just to say.
Yeah. No, you were correct.
You're going to have to pay that. So we just think you might as well know what you're paying up front. So when you're comparing us to, we like to think we don't have any competitors, but if you are comparing us to someone else, then to me, it's a matter of asking them those questions, because there's no surprises in ours.
Exactly. And no matter what, you're absolutely right. Yes, the package is free, but not the gratuities. I mean, our staff works very, very hard. And if you end up paying about $20 US per day on tips, that's what you would do if you're in a resort anyways, right? $1 to Pedro, $2 here and there. So that includes everything. So Bermuda, like I said, I've been 6 times. I love going because I love the no-fly. I have 2 kids. So let me tell you, and when I brought my mom as well, it's easy. We just, in my case, get in the car. Beautiful beach, Horseshoe Bay. And I'm always going to give you a little trick. I mean, Horseshoe Bay, don't go the first day because everybody wants to go. Enjoy the city. I'm telling you, go on the second day, because the first day it's packed. Bermuda has 34 beaches and they're all public beaches. And Bermuda is not independent. It's still owned by England. It is the cleanest place you'll ever been. It is remarkable. Love the city of Hamilton. This is the main street. I mean, the minute you get off the, by the way, getting around in Bermuda, it's super easy and safe. There's zero crime in Bermuda, 0% crime in Bermuda, but they have beautiful buses or those boats, right? That there are those ferries that brings you from one place to the other. It's about for me, when I always went with my kids, quite honest, for 3 people, it would cost me about 30 to 40 bucks, and I have enough tickets to go back and forth as many times as I want. So you take a ferry, you go to Hamilton. The minute you get off, you're right here on the main street. You could go to Crystal Cave. I mean, that's a nice excursion that we offer, but just walking around Hamilton. And if you're a golfer, please bring your golf course along, because I am telling you, you'll have some of the best golf courses in Bermuda. Then you can do, and Norwegian provides a free ferry to St. George. You don't even have to pay the ferry to go to St. George. And in case you didn't know, the oldest Catholic church, is it Catholic? Now I have a blank. I don't know, but it's when the Queen goes there, that's where she goes to church. She ain't Catholic, she's Protestant. Yeah, it can be Catholic. Exactly. If the Queen goes there, it can be Catholic. But it's so funny because me and my mom went. It's very nice inside, but still, we're used to St. Peter's, so we were like, oh, that's it. But no, honestly, walking around St. George, have a conch sandwich. Conch, is it how you pronounce it? It's so good. And look at this. This is Tobacco Beach. So it's right behind that church. You walk around, you'll find a beach at all time. And you don't have that many people. They're small. The water, it is so blue. This is not filtered. This is how blue the water is in Bermuda. You'll take the Norwegian Pearl. It's one of the smaller ships, about 2,200 passengers, and she's been completely refurbished in 2017, 2018. So you'll have, it'll feel like a brand new ship. So that's for Bermuda. I love
those ships.
Well, you know what? Because you don't spend your time walking around, like it's very intimate, right? And at the end of the day in Bermuda, Richard, you're there 3 days. Yes, you come back to the ship, but you keep getting off. So you have a lot of time on land compared, to other cruises.
People don't realize they can come and go as they wish. I mean, your ship is your bedroom and your home, but if you don't want to come back, you want to have lunch or something on land, you do that. You do whatever you want.
Oh, you can come back and after dinner, get back off and go. There's a festival on the Wednesday, for example, go into town, grab a jazz bar or whatever and come back. So, and, for example, my mom can't stand the sun so much. So she would go back to the ships, relax in the cabin, and we kept going. So it's like your hotel is parked for you, right? And then my second favorite destination, it's absolutely Hawaii. Norwegian is the only cruise line to sail out of Hawaii all year round. First of all, out of Honolulu, we do 4 islands in 7 days, 2 days in Maui, 2 days in Kauai, Hilo and Kona. And the fact that you're sailing out of Honolulu, you have the chance to spend more days in Oahu, which is, Waikiki Beach and the north part, of the beach. You can go to do a luau. How many days on your tour are you arriving before, Richard?
Well, right now we're still working on the details on that, but the cruise itself, they can just do the cruise, but we're going to have at least a week-long pre-land as well. So we're just working on the final details, but this will be March of 23. So we're probably leaving late February of 23.
Absolutely. My suggestion, at least 3 nights, because you have Pearl Harbor, you have the Polynesia Center. I mean, there's so much to do on the island, and I have a little video for you guys. This one should.
I think this is saying it all, pretty much.
Exactly. I mean, I simply adore this video because exactly it gives you the vibe of what it is. There is so much to do. If people think that Hawaii is actually only, only beaches and not, absolutely not. There's a lot of culture. I actually love the food. It's not cheap, but there's great brew houses actually, and I'm not even a beer drinker. But it's March 2023, and your price is good, my friend. Your price is good. I was like, I might have to increase this, like, honestly, because again, for us, Hawaii is such a popular itinerary, and we're the only cruise line there. We have itinerary outs all the way to 2024. So the fact that and because we didn't go in 2020, we won't go much in 2021 until late. So we lost 2 years. So the demand is so high, price has gone up, and it's a trip of a lifetime. Honestly, everybody should go to Hawaii at least once in their life, right? And again, 3 days if you can at least.
Oh yeah, we're going to be doing we're going to be, like I said, at least a week there prior doing some stuff. So.
And you're going at the perfect time, late February, beginning of March. That's when you're going to see the whales, the most, because they will just have left Alaska. Actually, they're getting ready to leave Alaska. So they're very, very, leaving for Alaska, sorry. And they're very, very active. These are my own pictures. The ship is gorgeous. Just where the ship docks, you have a fabulous view. This is just me walking off the ship because I was working, so I couldn't go too much deep. But honestly, make sure you book your excursions early, because let me tell you, especially if you want to do something specific like the helicopter over the volcanoes and whatnot, you're going to have to do it much, early, because it sells out. So
we tend to always do that, Sabrina. We always book our excursions before we go, and so that no one's disappointed in what they really, really want to do. And everyone wants to know what everyone else is doing anyway. So, even though I try to say, do what you'd like to do, they often say, Richard, where are you going? So, I'm looking forward to this, because Hawaii is new to me. I've only ever flown over it, going to Australia a few times, but I've never done Hawaii. So I'm really looking forward to it. And I guess we need to move right along.
Yeah, I'm just looking for the last slide and showing them amazing pictures and whatnot. So I do have a few pictures of the ship, just to let you know that it's been renovated 2 times. So, but again, all of this, it's also available on ncl.com. And I know that you put a lot of this information exactly on the site. Look at that. The cabins are beautiful. Everything's been renovated, because some people are like, well, that ship ain't that new, and and they want to know. And there are 4 studios only, so they have to book it very, very, very early. So off to you. I'm done after this.
Well, thank you, Sabrina. We didn't need to go quite that fast, but it is a beautiful ship, and you're always updating. And like I said, to me, we will have a couple other itineraries up very soon, because my goal was I need to do something. Like people like you and I that are gone at least for me a couple weeks a month, and you're gone even more than that, to not having traveled in 16 months or 17 months, whatever we're up to now. So I'm looking at something, a getaway at the end of 21, just for myself. And I don't care if anyone's coming with me. In fact, it would be easier, I suppose, if they weren't. I could just look after me. But to me, if someone wants to come, you're always welcome. And that's what, with our hosted trips that I'm hosting, my goal is, it's a lot of the world I want to see and do. And you're welcome to come with me. And then we have many other trips that our regular tour directors that do even a more amazing job than I do, host all the time and guide. So our next week, I want to mention before we go to the questions, join us for our Tea at 3. We're going to talk about beautiful old Cape Cod, and we do an annual trip down there. And then the final Tea at 3 before the summer break is going to be Ireland and Scotland, a trip that I'm hosting in 2023. And we'll have someone from overseas joining us as our guest to talk about that wonderful trip. So
that's exciting. Maybe I'll tune in. I want to see that.
So we'll see if we have any questions there, Sabrina.
Yeah, and while you're looking at that, I just have to say, even if you have ideas in we've just like presented 2 tours, and I know you're going to come out with more. But if you're a bunch of people or friends that you haven't seen, or family members, and you want to travel in groups, just know that, you know, Richard and his team can actually book your own group, right? And there's a lot of advantages with Norwegian. We give discounts to groups, and you know, so you can definitely, because I think that a lot of people will want to travel together. They haven't seen their family, and maybe their families are spread out in other provinces. So why not all get together on a ship and just travel together?
And lead time is our friend. I mean, we can book you any vacation anytime. We're happy to. Peggy in the office will look after you, or any of our team. And then if you have a small group and you know you want to, you know, have a special anniversary or something coming up years down the road, you know, the like Sabrina just showed you, locking in prices early with groups is a real advantage, and that's something that we can do for you. And I think the minimum for a group is 5 cabins, I think, Sabrina.
5 cabins, that's it.
So, I mean, there's a lot I can do, and we can work with you on that. And the crazy thing is, you've done such an amazing job today that we don't have any questions. So
really,
you know, I know that we have a lot of you know, a lot of times we have first timers. Look, you call and you ask me anything. I've been intimate about the cruise business for many years, long before I even got to sail on them, because we handled the shore excursions for the very first trips coming into Halifax. So I've been on and toured and seen most of the ships in every fleet out there, because I would go on to settle the accounts. I was one of the people that was allowed to do that. And then 9/11 and all that changed the world. It wasn't as easy getting on, but I still had the credentials to get on and see a lot of these other ships. And I already told you why I love Norwegian, and you can certainly see Sabrina's passion. So thank you, Sabrina. No questions.
Thank you.
I look forward to when we can get a hug and a nice lunch and,
yes,
a nice chat. And I look forward to all those listening joining me on one of these fantastic getaways sometime soon.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity, Richard. Always nice to see you. And again, hope to see you very, very soon.
Thank you again. And we'll see you all next week.
Bye.